The chosen one. Lean in now. I am speaking to you with urgency and tenderness because heaven is pressing a message into your hands for your son. His destiny is being formed even as you listen. The clay is still warm. The fingerprints of God are upon it. You have felt the stirring late-night whispers, unexplainable nudges, a holy restlessness that will not let you settle. This is not imagination. This is visitation. The Lord has set his gaze upon your lineage, and the story he is writing through your child will not be a repeat of old chapters. There is a fresh script unfolding with your son's name engraved upon it, and the ink is still wet. There is a promise and there is a warning. The promise, what threatened to repeat in your bloodline, will break at the threshold of your son's life. Cycles will snap like old ropes in the rain. Patterns that trailed your ancestors will meet a closed gate at his door. The warning, the shaping season requires your agreement, not your anxiety. Heaven is asking you to become a steward of atmosphere, a keeper of gates, a watcher at the door of words. In these days, sentences sculpt futures, and silence can become consent. Do not curse what God is crowning. Speak life. Set watch over the songs, the screens, the companions, the jokes, the opinions that try to plant seeds in tender soil. Guard the firsts, first prayers, first mentors, first victories, even first wounds, for each first becomes a compass. You are not random. You are rare. You were trusted with a child who is a key forged for locks that refuse to open for generations. He will carry answers your family prayed for and solutions nations didn't know they needed. But keys are shaped by pressure and fire. Expect strange timing, unusual favor, and resistance that looks ordinary, but is strategically placed. Expect dreams that feel too big for a house like yours, and doors that appear out of nowhere. Do not shrink. Do not apologize for oil. Heaven is setting a table in the presence of questions, and your son will eat from it. Listen, this formation is not fragile. It is precise. Your son's path will be threaded with divine intersections. Mentors you never sought, opportunities you did not engineer, corrections that feel like mercy. Pay attention to the small yeses. They will ripple like waves. Pay attention to the names that keep reappearing. Destiny often arrives wearing a familiar face. And when fear knocks, remember, God is not finishing your story. He is beginning a chapter through your child. Hold steady. Guard the altar. Keep the oil burning. Because what I will unveil next will show you where this road is leading, why the shaking had to happen, and how to partner with the author of your son's becoming. Be still a moment and let your spirit recognize the voice. Now lift your eyes. The source of this word draws near. The wind that moved over the waters moves over your house now. Listen for the voice that speaks and things become. The chosen one. Hear this. The source of this word is the Holy One, who names stars and counts tears, the Father who stood in your yesterday and is already waiting in your tomorrow. He is not sending a rumor. He is delivering a decree. I am the Lord. He says, the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, keeper of covenants, mender of lines, restorer of years. I lay foundations before the soil knows a spade, and I sketch destinies before the child knows a cradle. The message concerning your son does not rise from wishful thinking or sentimental hope. It descends from a throne that has never been shaken. Heaven remembers the moment your child was imagined before breath, before heartbeat, before first cry. The blueprint of his days was drafted in light. The Lord signed that design with his own name, then placed the scroll within your line and said, "In the fullness of time, I will unfold this." That time is drawing close. The contractions of destiny are tightening, and every pressure you feel is not cruelty, it is timing. The weaver is pulling threads you cannot reach, knotting ends you cannot see, and aligning intersections you could never arrange. What feels like delay is choreography. What looks like detour is training. What sounds like silence is the author turning the page. You have sensed this breathing at the edges of ordinary days, an ache, a weight, a holy responsibility that will not be dismissed. That is not anxiety, it is assignment. The Spirit is tutoring your discernment, teaching your mouth to bless and your eyes to recognize. He is drawing you into partnership because this message is not merely about what God will do for your son. It is about what God will do with you, through you, around you. You are not a spectator to his calling. You are a co-laborer at the gate. Trust the sender. His credentials are eternity. When he speaks, seas part and deserts bloom. When he whispers, bones remember their shape and futures stand up to walk. He does not negotiate with the past. He writes over it. He does not bargain with the adversary. He disarms him. He does not require perfect conditions. He creates them. And concerning your son, he has sworn by his own name that purpose will not miscarry in your house. There will be nights when you question the root, when your child's gifts outgrow familiar rooms, when his questions cut deeper than your answers, when his courage makes others uncomfortable. In those moments, return to the source. Place your ear upon the word and remember who commissioned this journey. The same voice that called Samuel in the night, that strengthened Jeremiah's mouth, that steadied Timothy's youth, now rests upon your lineage. Fear not, says the Lord. I am with you. I am with your son. My hand is the shield he does not see and the door he does not know to knock. I go before him as path and behind him as guard. Let anticipation rise not as nervous energy, but as worship. Fix your trust not in signs, but in the signer. Anchor your hope not in outcome, but in the one who authors outcomes. You are held by the faithful witness, the Amen of God, the beginning, who has already seen your end and calls it good. Receive his nearness. Feel his pleasure. Yield to his leading. Breathe. Heaven has set the stage and dimmed the noise. Now watch as the curtain lifts and the prophecy begins to speak. The curtain rises. What was hidden begins to breathe. Attend closely. The word will sketch what eyes have not yet seen. Your son is a voice carved from quiet, a lamp fashioned for rooms where the air has learned to live without hope. He will walk like morning through houses that forgot dawn. His presence will not be loud, yet. The atmosphere will answer him. Old shadows, thinning. Old stories, loosening old names, falling from shoulders that wore them too long. He is not coming to decorate ruins. He is coming to wake foundations. There is a mark on his mind, an understanding swift as lightning, a way of tracing lines between what seems unrelated. He will read patterns the way sailors read stars. Where others see noise, he will hear a rhythm. Where others see broken pieces, he will perceive a blueprint. This is not mere intelligence. It is sight. Heaven will lend him lenses that can notice the door hidden in a wall and the spring buried in a desert. His hands will become bridges. Sometimes they will build tools, systems, songs, solutions that make paths where bureaucracy said no and despair said never. Sometimes they will heal touches that cancel shame gestures that tell the nervous soul, you are not a mistake. Do not force the shape of this gift too early. It may appear as art before it becomes strategy, or as science before it becomes song. It will arrive in living colors, refusing old boxes. There will be a season of questions more than you expected. Do not fear it. Questions are ladders for him. They do not pull him from faith, they lift him through it. He will challenge phrases that have grown comfortable but empty, and his challenge will be a mercy. Under his inquiry, traditions will shed husks and show their grain again. He is not a rebel without cause. He is a reformer with a clock in his chest. I see a corridor of doors, opportunities set like lights along a long hall. Some doors open with keys. He earns diligence, discipline, study. Some open by keys. He is given favor, friendship. A name remembered in a room he does not enter. A few will open by wind. These are the moments you could not have planned, the suddenly that explains years. Teach him to honor all three earned, given, and breathed. He will not be spared storms. He will be trained by them. In one storm, words will misread him. In another, numbers will miscount him. Do not waste breath defending his crown to people who prefer hats. The Lord himself will vindicate. See the image, a tree in high country, bent yes, but unbroken. Roots traveling farther than branches boast. Fruit arriving later than the valley expects, and sweeter when it comes. There will be an early friend who burns like a comet, bright, fast, almost holy to the unsteady eye. Let discernment guide proximity. That friend will teach him about magnetism and motive, about zeal without yoke. He will not harden, he will learn. Later, a mentor with scarred hands will appear gentle, steady, almost invisible. Do not overlook this one. Under quiet instruction, your son will inherit tools that do not glitter but do not fail. I hear a sound around him. Footsteps that follow because they feel safe. He will not beg for crowds. Crowds will grow around the water he carries. His influence will be unusual, not measured by applause, but by change. An office made honest, a campus made kind, a neighborhood told the truth and choosing hope anyway. Some will try to brand what should remain a stream. Keep him fluent in humility. Fame is a costume that fits poorly on prophets of solutions. There is a map etched in his heart that points him toward intersections, faith and culture, mercy and justice, prayer and policy, worship and work. He will stand there like a translator, fluent in the languages that rarely sit at the same table. He will not dilute either side. He will dignify both. In rooms where cynicism is currency, he will spend wonder and receive authority as change. A sign for you before a significant turn. He will dream of a narrow gate with luminous edges. He will hesitate at the width and then notice how many burdens fall off in order to pass through. This dream will visit twice. The first time, he will wake and think it lovely. The second time, he will wake and know it is instruction. When that second dream comes, plan for a move of city of circle or of scale. Another sign, a phrase will begin to follow him. You will hear it in sermons and songs and billboards that should not be prophetic but are. The phrase is simple, build here. Do not rush to pour concrete. It may first mean build habits. Later, it will mean build people. Later still, it will mean build spaces that outlast your year's programs, places platforms that keep serving when your hands are old. Do not mistake gentleness for softness. Lions tread quietly before they roar. He will carry tears close to the surface and courage beneath them. The day will come when he stands before a gate guarded by fear that learned to speak through respectable voices. He will feel his knees ask questions. Then he will remember every prayer you stacked like bricks and will walk forward as if the ground were made for him. There will be 3 firsts that mark turning points. The first time he refuses a glittering compromise. The first time he chooses to stay and fix what runs even when leaving would be easier. The first time he leads by letting another lead. Heaven will clap at each. These are the hinges of his authority, the hidden metallurgy of his crown. Keep oil in the house. Keep laughter loud. Keep forgiveness fast. These are not decorative practices. They are weather systems around his formation. And when you feel the night press close, remember the God who spoke this sees all the way through. He is not predicting. He is promising. He is not hoping. He is heralding. Hold the picture. Let it settle like dew. We go now beneath the surface to read the meanings within these signs. Hold the picture. Let it soak into the roots. Now, come lower where meaning gathers like springs beneath stone, the chosen one. What you have received is not a horoscope of luck, but a map of order. Destiny is river, not highway. It curves, carves, and keeps moving until rock remembers it is soft. Your son's formation is that sermon. Grace is not frenzy. Grace is faithful flow that returns until resistance turns into passage. Consider light. Light does not debate darkness. It arrives and the room recalculates. Your son is learning the grammar of light clarity without cruelty warmth, without weakness, revelation without spectacle. Illumination precedes transformation. People live new only after they see new. Questions will be ladders for him, not threats. He will climb toward clearer sight, and those near him will discover that honest inquiry can be holy ground. Now, storms. Storms are not verdicts of failure. They are confirmations of forecast. Only boats with destinations meet weather. The winds that test him are tutors assigned to teach ballast. Ballast is lived truth packed deep that keeps a vessel upright when waves say kneel. Make your home a rehearsal hall for truth spoken in love correction, like rain on seeded fields. Sometimes gentle, sometimes heavy, always meant to grow what God already planted. Doors reveal partnership. Some open to keys he earns discipline, diligent study. Some open to keys he is given favor, friendship, remembrance in rooms he never enters. A few open to wind the spirits suddenly. Honor all three and teach him their etiquette, gratitude for gifts, stewardship for wind, excellence for earned access. Destiny is communal by design, so pride has nowhere to sit. Seasons guard pace. The phrase build here is seasonal faithfulness. In winter, build roots. In spring, build rhythms. In summer, build boundaries. In autumn, build barns that can share. If he honors the assignment of each season, none will be wasted, and harvest will not crush him when it comes. Journeys require architecture. Your sun is becoming a place, not merely going to one an address where weary hearts find clarity. Character is construction integrity as foundation, compassion as doorway, courage as roofline, humility as windows that let heaven in. This explains the three firsts. Refusing glittering compromise pours the slab. Staying to repair frames the door. Leading by releasing sets the roofline under which others grow. The narrow gate with luminous edges is consecration. Holy gates are tailored to the true self, not to baggage. What falls off is not only sin, but also the unnecessary, the inherited anxieties, secondhand ambitions, costumes worn for acceptance. The dream repeats because consecration is rhythm, not ceremony. Each new scale requires lighter travel. Gentleness with bravery is alloy, not contradiction. The kingdom tempers steel with mercy, so courage does not become cruelty. Tears irrigate discernment. They keep sight from souring into suspicion. When your son faces gates policed by respectable fear, the lion will step. After he passes through the lamp, will warm the bruised. Hiddenness is kiln. Applause freezes wet clay. Anonymity lets the glaze cure. Early invisibility is not punishment. It is protection from vanity and performance. Later visibility will not spoil him because he has eaten the honest bread of secret faithfulness. Influence, measured by change, not noise, is heaven's arithmetic. One repaired conscience outweighs 1,000 clicks. One reconciled home tips scales that billboards cannot. Teach him to count restoration rather than ratios. This math will keep the stream a stream and not a brand. The comet friend and scarred mentor are sacraments. Through them, he learns magnetism without manipulation, charisma without consumption, speed without arrogance, slowness without fear. Choose the mentor who hides behind craft. Inheritance lives in those quiet tools that do not break when seasons turn. Covenant frames the promise that cycles end at his threshold. God's verdict stands, but alignment pulls it into visibility. Alignment happens by atmosphere prayer as oxygen, scripture as map worship, as warm, light laughter as oil confession, as the hinge that frees stuck doors. Keep these in circulation so grace amplifies and old lies lose their echo. Hope, then, is not naive. It is meteorology. You are reading skies, trimming sails, expecting rain, because the barometer of promise is falling. Expect resistance, refuse, paranoia. The storm cannot cancel the sunrise. At most, it tests the shutters. Build shutters now. Truth, tenderness, training, and you will rest when clouds gather. This is the depth your son is appointed to embody, a set of living metaphors. light that reforms sight, storms that certify calling, doors that teach interdependence, seasons that shape pace, a journey that becomes shelter, a gate that reduces weight so speed increases, gentleness that guards power, hiddenness that cures the glaze, companionships that form discernment, covenant that ends cycles by atmosphere. Receive this theology of formation. Destiny is not manufactured by ambition, but midwifed by surrender. Surrender is not passivity. It is agreement with the will of God enacted daily in choices small enough to be ignored by crowds and large enough to move history. Keep the oil. Keep the laughter. Keep the table open and the word near. Then the house itself will preach when you are weary, and the future will recognize him when he knocks. Let this settle like evening gold upon a field. Now watch for the confirmations that are already tapping at your door. Even now, hints rise like dawn along the horizon. Receive the gentle taps. Heaven rarely knocks with fists. The chosen one. Confirmations have been passing by you in plain sight, modest and faithful, like sparrows that do not ask to be noticed. They do not arrive to flatter. They arrive to focus. As you read, your memory will nod because some of these signs have already brushed your days. Attend to them, not with superstition, but with stewardship. Let them become mile markers that steady your pace and quiet your questions. 1. The double dream. The narrow gate with luminous edges will visit twice as was spoken. The first dream feels like poetry. The second settles like instruction. Within 48 hours of the second dream, you will witness small reductions that feel like losses, an invitation declined, an expense that forces reprioritizing a plan that trims itself. Do not grieve these tightenings. They are the shedding that allows passage through the gate. Journal the dates. Gates keep time. 2. The phrase that finds you. Build Here will echo in unusual places on a podcast you play by accident, on a street poster you barely read, in a conversation you overhear from strangers. 3 sightings within a short span signal immediate obedience. The first time, ask for clarity. The second, prepare materials, time blocks, mentors, budgets, prayers. The third, begin, even if beginning looks like a small routine at dawn. Obedience is architecture measured in mornings. 3. The unlikely ally, a person you might have ignored, too quiet, too ordinary, too outside your normal circle, will carry a key introduction. They will not brag. They will simply say, I know someone. Would you like to meet? Pride will be tempted to decline. Say yes. This ally is a hinge placed by God to swing a door you have pressed for months. Honor their humility with gratitude that becomes friendship. 4. The gentle resistance. Not all friction is warfare. Some is guidance. When a good option keeps slipping, emails vanish, timing misaligns, peace thins, discern politely. Heaven sometimes blocks the almost right to guard the exactly appointed. The sign within the sign is rest when you release the almost right. A deep exhale returns to your chest. Follow the exhale. 5. The early morning pull. For a short window, you or your son will awake before the alarm with a sense of being summoned. The house will feel unusually quiet, as if the air itself is listening. In those mornings, Scripture will open as if underlined by a steady hand. A single verse will keep reappearing. Do not rush it. Sit with it until language turns into presence, and presence clarifies assignment. 6. The repair of small things. Broken handles get fixed. A forgotten plant revives. An overdue call reconciles without drama. These are not random chores. They are parables. When the Lord is about to trust a person with bigger repairs, He rehearses them with little ones. Celebrate the mending of trifles. They are rehearsal footage for future restoration. You will know these confirmations by the fruit they leave: peace that is not sleepy courage, that is not arrogant clarity, that does not bruise. None of these signs demand spectacle. They invite alignment. As you honor them, momentum gathers quietly like a river deepening under shade. Hold the signs loosely but faithfully, like candles cupped against wind. Ahead, we will speak honestly about the challenges that hide along the path. Candles need wind to learn their language. Walk with me into the honest shadows so nothing surprises you. The chosen one. Before fulfillment stands a narrow stretch of road where obstacles dress like ordinary days. These are not punishments. They are tutors. They will not disqualify your son. They will define his stride. Read them now so you'll recognize their faces when they arrive and answer them with peace. First, the slow season. Momentum will feel like it evaporates. Meetings postpone replies, lag opportunities hover without landing. The temptation will be to force doors with noise or to call the quiet a failure. Resist both. Slow does not mean small. It means deep. Roots are traveling where eyes cannot follow. In stillness, schedules are baptized, motives are sifted, and the work beneath the work grows sinew. Teach your house to bless the quiet with patient diligence, small, faithful tasks that keep the lamp trimmed. Second, the misread moment. Your son's motives will be questioned by people committed to old lenses. Gentle boldness will be labeled pride. Unusual ideas will be dismissed as naive. Do not argue with every mouth. Vindication is a river that carves its own canyon. Let character outlast commentary. Answer slander with consistency, and let time become the witness that opinion is not. Third, the comparison trap. Friends will seem to sprint while he walks. Highlight reels will parade as testimonies. Envy offers a shortcut that sells purpose for applause. Anchor him in the arithmetic of heaven impact, measured by change, not by noise. Celebrate others without belittling the assignment in your hands. Gratitude turns scarcity into song and refocuses the eyes on the field God actually gave. Fourth, the good detour. A glittering option will appear moral, lucrative, respectable, but subtly misaligned with the phrase, "build here." It will offer relief without formation, platform without process. The test is not between sin and righteousness, but between right and almost right. Ask the question that exposes alignment. Does this deepen the call or distract from it? If peace thins when you imagine saying yes, step back. The right door does not require you to betray the blueprint. Fifth, the tired heart. Weariness will arrive without warning. honest fatigue from doing good, the ache of long obedience, the weight of people's needs. Exhaustion lies. It says the future is heavy forever. Counter it with rhythms, not heroics. Sleep becomes strategy. Meals become ministry. Laughter becomes medicine. Sabbath is not a luxury. It is armor. Rest is how you keep tomorrow from borrowing today's strength. Sixth, the quiet warfare. Not spectacle subtle currents and atmosphere of cynicism in rooms. He must inhabit a steady whisper that says you are behind or you are too much. This warfare does not roar. It erodes. Guard the gates, eyes, ears, tongue. Curate inputs. Surround routine with psalms and honest friends who know how to pray first and advise second. Name lies out loud and replace them immediately with truth. Courage grows where vocabulary is trained. Seventh, the holy loneliness. Reformers often walk half steps ahead of their generation. The distance can feel like exile. Reframe it. Loneliness is not abandonment. It is consecration's echo. Keep covenantal friendship close, even if few. Let the scarred mentor remain near. Teach your son to bring solitude to God before he brings it to a crowd. In each of these challenges, remember the point. Testing proves tensile strength. It does not humiliate design. When the storm passes, what stands is trustworthy. And you will stand because grace is not fragile, and this promise is not made of glass. Take courage. The map includes the mountains and the means. Now receive the instructions that turn pressure into progress. Pressure becomes progress when obedience receives a plan. Take these steps as sacred duty and personal power given in love and urgency. The chosen one. Instruction is kindness. Heaven does not merely announce. Heaven equips. Receive these 10 charges as a rhythm for your house, simple enough to start today, strong enough to carry tomorrow. Begin imperfectly. Heaven multiplies sincere beginnings. 1. Establish the dawn. For 40 days, choose a first light ritual that you and your son can actually keep. 10 unhurried minutes are better than grand vows that collapse. Open a psalm aloud. Give thanks for 3 specifics and ask one question. Lord, what is today's obedience? Write the answer in a shared notebook. Obedience becomes traceable when it is written. Dawn is not superstition. It is alignment. The early hour is a small gate that trains the heart for the narrow one that glows in his dreams. 2. Guard the gates. Post watch over eyes, ears, and tongue. Curate what plays in the background of your life, music, shows, conversations, even jokes. Ask of each input. Does this plant faith or drain it? Replace ambient cynicism with scripture, honest worship, and stories of faithfulness. Speak blessing daily over your son by name, not in vague terms, but with specificity. You are steady. You are teachable. You are brave in kindness. Your mind is clear. Words are chisels in soft clay. Wield them carefully, gladly. 3. Build the table. Eat together with phones, resting face down in another room at least 3 times a week. Make the table a sanctuary of curiosity. What did you wonder today? Where did courage show up? Where did you need help? Celebrate small integrity as if it were headline news. Feed bodies and futures in the same hour. The table is a quiet revolution that starves isolation and trains gratitude to recognize its food. 4. Appoint the mentor. Pray for and pursue the scarred guide. Look for humility, craft, and joy, not fame. When you find this person, honor their time with punctuality and follow through. Ask your son to arrive with questions written down and with a summary of what he tried since the last meeting. Mentorship turns from myth to muscle when meetings translate into experiments. Pay for their coffee, write a gratitude note, and refuse to treat impartation like a transaction. It is covenant. 5. Practice consecrated yes and respected no. Not every open door is assignment. Teach your son to weigh opportunities with 3 scales. Does it deepen the call? Does it keep the table? Does it guard the dawn? If 2 out of 3 fail, decline graciously and without guilt. Conversely, when the right door opens, step promptly. Delay can be a kind of disobedience when clarity has already been given. 6. Train for storms. Do not wait for weather to study anchors. Choose a simple rule for conflict. We never interpret silence as rejection, and another for criticism. We respond once in clarity and kindness, and then we build. Keep a folder of testimonies, emails, notes, moments when God proved faithful. Read them on weary nights. When winds rise, memory becomes ballast. 7. Steward the craft. Purpose without practice breeds frustration. Whether your son's tools are instruments code blueprints or policy drafts, set consistent training windows. Excellence is worship in work clothes. Create a visible tracker. Pages, read hours, practice prototypes, built and celebrate streaks, not perfection. Teach him to revise with joy. Drafts are not failures. They are evidence that the future is listening. 8. Budget for calling. Assign dollars and hours to destiny on paper. Build a formation fund for books, courses, travel to mentors, and quiet retreats. Tithe not only money, but also time. Give the first sliver of the week to service that expects nothing in return. Generosity pries the fingers of fear from resources and trains the heart to live like a river, not a reservoir. 9. Keep the confessional short. Sin festers in delay. Shame grows in secrecy. Model quick repentance. I was wrong. Please forgive me. Make forgiveness a rhythm, not an event. Teach your son that holiness is not the absence of temptation, but the presence of surrender. When missteps come, treat them as detours with maps, not dead ends with walls. Grace is not a loophole. It is a ladder. 10. Name the legacy. Write a short family creed, 5 to 7 lines that say who you are and how you walk. Post it where you dress and where you eat. Recite it aloud on hard mornings and after victories. Let it include these vows. We tell the truth. We finish what we start. We protect the vulnerable. We choose wonder over cynicism. We build here. Creeds become rails that keep trains steady at speed. Now, urgency without fear. Begin now. Pick 2 of these practices today. and add a third next week. Heaven multiplies small, consistent seeds faster than grand, sporadic gestures. The narrow gate glows not to intimidate, but to invite. Every time you shed a burden, an anxious script, a performative expectation, you move more freely, and freedom evangelizes. Others will want the life they see forming in your Son and the rest they feel in your home. Empowerment. You are not passive in prophecy. You are co-creating atmosphere with God. Your prayers are not background noise. They are scaffolding around a rising life. Your laughter is not filler. It is oil on the hinges of tomorrow's doors. Your hospitality to truth is not quaint. It is legislation in the spirit that tells darkness, not here, not him, not now. If resistance comes as heaviness, answer with movement walk, and pray clean, and sing plan, and bless. Bodies teach souls. If resistance comes as confusion, slow the pace, and ask for the next small obedience only. Destiny prefers steps to leaps. If resistance comes as flattery, consult the creed, call the mentor, and check the 3 scales again. You will not miss your way when humility keeps the map. Take this final instruction for the section schedule joy. Plan laughter like appointments. Put rest on the calendar before the month begins. Defend wonder with trips to simple places, parks, libraries, gardens, sanctuaries, and let worship interrupt productivity whenever gratitude swells. Joy is strength with music. It keeps hands building when headlines try to steal breath. You are not walking these steps alone. Help surrounds you like air. Now receive the assurance that guards what you build. You are not walking these steps alone. Help surrounds you like air. Now receive the assurance that guards what you build. The chosen one. The God who instructs also encamps. Protection is not an afterthought. It is braided into the promise. Before your son steps onto roads prepared for him, angels have already measured the mileposts. Before his name is spoken in new rooms, the Lord has already stood in those rooms and laid peace upon the seats. You do not need to manufacture safety. You need to remain under it. See the covering like a canopy stretched over your house prayer, as fabric obedience as poles worship, as tether lines. When winds rise, the canopy does not fly. It hums. You will feel that hum and inner steadiness that outlives headlines and quiets rooms. This is not denial. It is dominion. It is the sound of a covenant that refuses to panic. Heaven's defense works in layers. There is the outer wall, the providence that reroutes your son around, snares he never sees, appointments, shifted paths, changed timing, nudged. When you later wonder why a delay saved him, call it by its right name, mercy. There is the inner wall discernment that pricks his conscience before compromise hardens. Train him to honor the first prick. The earliest no is the easiest exit, and there is the innermost wall, the presence nearer than breath, speaking in the language of peace. Wherever peace lifts, pause. Wherever peace returns, proceed. Your prayers form sentries. Think of them not as wishes, but as watchmen, posted at gates, morning watchmen, who greet the day with blessing. Evening watchmen, who close doors with gratitude and forgiveness. Name what you guard. We shut out fear. We bar cynicism. We refuse shame. Name what you welcome. We open to wisdom. We invite favor. We receive correction. Words become laws inside a home. Let your laws be gentle and immovable. When criticism comes, the shield will be clarity. Answer once with truth, and then hand the matter to God. When confusion knocks, the shield will be Scripture. Open on the table. Read aloud until anxiety loses its vocabulary. When exhaustion presses, the shield will be Sabbath rest, kept like a vow naps, held like protest against Pharaoh time laughter, scheduled as warfare. The enemy cannot outshout a rested heart. Expect subtle deliverances. A number you meant to dial but didn't. A road you meant to take but forgot. A meeting that moved and revealed better timing. Do not call these accidents. Collect them as stones of remembrance. Tell the stories at the table so faith becomes family inheritance, not superstition. Your son will carry his own armor light and well fitted. Truth around his middle so flattery cannot bloat him. Righteous practice on his chest so arrows of accusation splinter on habits, not arguments. Prepared footsteps, eager for good, so intimidation cannot nail him to the floor. Trust lifted like a shield, trained to intercept suggestions that smell like fear. And a word near his mouth, not as weapon against people, but as seed that turns ground into garden. Know this too. Protection is not isolation. God will not hide him from every hard place. He will make him safe within them. Fire will pass near enough to teach reverence, but not near enough to consume. Lions will roar loud enough to teach authority, but not close enough to devour. The point is not a bubble. The point is a presence. So breathe. The one who watches Israel does not slumber. He hems your son in behind with mercy, before with promise within with peace. When you feel small beneath the weight of guardianship, remember, the shepherd is larger than wolves and wiser than cliffs. You are held while you hold. With assurance beneath your feet, lift your eyes to behold what this protection is preparing transformation that unfolds like morning over water. Now, step toward the future that is already stirring. Protection has cleared the ground. Promise begins to bloom without hurry. Behold the shape of becoming as it stands up in your house. The chosen one. Transformation rarely shouts. It announces itself in textures peace that lingers longer than worry courage, that returns faster than fear. Clarity that arrives before the meeting begins. You will notice it first in your son's posture. The slouch that carried yesterday's questions will straighten as if a quiet weight has shifted from his shoulders to his roots. He will speak fewer words and mean more by them. Rooms will answer him not with fanfare, but with alignment. Fruit will appear like dawn, gradual, certain, unarguable. Habits, once fought for, will become reflex. The notebook opened before the screen. The prayer whispered. Before the reply, the extra mile, chosen without applause. Temptations that used to wage full campaigns will arrive and find no purchase. They will fall away like rain from waxed leaves. This is not pride, it is purity, training his reflexes. He will stop negotiating with what once distracted him and begin investing in what multiplies. Opportunities will mature from shimmer to substance. A door, long admired from a distance, will swing open and invite him to build, not just visit. He will recognize the room because he has rehearsed it in the small honesty in quiet corners. Excellence with no camera kindness when it costs time. Those rehearsals become muscle memory. When new scale comes, he will not perform. He will simply continue. Pay attention to reconciliations. People who once misunderstood him will return not to explain themselves, but to ask for language, for tools, for courage. Your son will host these moments like a physician. Gentle hands, precise questions, clean instruments. He will not savor vindication. He will serve restoration. That refusal to gloat will mark him with fresh authority. Heaven trusts builders who do not waste time tearing old scaffolds in public. Joy will grow sturdy. Not a spike of excitement, but a floor beneath the day. He will laugh more easily, forgive more quickly, and tire more slowly. He will discover that rest can be woven into speed like breath inside a run. The Sabbath you guarded will become his inheritance. He will keep it by instinct, not obligation. In that rhythm, creativity will bloom in designs, in solutions, in songs that sound like cities being repaired. Provision will match assignment. Resources will arrive on time, sometimes through familiar channels, sometimes from hands you did not know were watching. He will learn the choreography of generosity, receiving with gratitude, allocating with wisdom, sending with joy. The formation fund you set aside will become seed for a field larger than you planned. Yet, money will remain tool, not throne. He will measure wealth by what it sets free. Watch his friendships. The comet has faded into lesson. The scarred mentor has become family. Now, peers appear who carry similar yokes, different crafts, same heart. They will not compete. They will conspire for good. Together, they will redignify spaces that surrendered to cynicism, classrooms that teach wonder, again offices that practice mercy again, streets that trust neighbors again. This fellowship is fulfillment's ecosystem. Guard it without possessiveness. The phrase "build here" will gain coordinates. A place will emerge, physical or digital, local or mobile, where people gather and leave lighter. There, your son's voice will not be celebrity, it will be shepherd. He will set tables for conversations that heal and systems that last. He will handle critique with calm and adopt improvements without losing spine. The work will not orbit him. It will outgrow him, as all true work should. You will feel the fulfillment in your own body, a release you didn't know you were holding, a gratitude that interrupts chores, tears that come without sadness. The ache of waiting will transfigure into worship. In prayer, you will say less and see more. In rest, you will dream not warnings now, but blueprints for the next faithful step. Legacy will stop sounding like a distant word and start feeling like the air of your house. And your son, he will stand at that luminous gate again, not to pass through, but to keep it for others. He will wave burdens off their shoulders with language and presence. He will bless beginnings, honor endings, and midwife middles. Some will call this leadership. Heaven calls it love maturing. The quiet child who asked many questions will answer the world with a life that makes sense. This is fulfillment, not a moment only, but a meadow arrived at by path kept by practice, shared by design. It is the Lord, keeping His word in public, because you kept your yes in private. The harvest is not loud, but it is heavy, and it will be shared until gratitude sounds like many voices. Let your heart agree aloud. What God has begun, He has established. Now, seal it with words and receive the blessing that crowns the promise. The meadow is before you. Words will fence it with peace. Open your mouth. Agreement becomes a mantle. The chosen one, let your tongue carry what your spirit has already embraced. Speak life into the soil you now tend. Say these aloud at dawn and at night, and teach your son to echo them until they live in your breathing affirmation 1. I am aligned with God's timing. My house moves at heaven's pace. Affirmation 2. My son is formed by wisdom, protected by presence, and led by peace. Affirmation 3. We build here truthfully, tenderly, and with unhurried courage. Affirmation 4. What began in secret will stand in daylight, for the Lord is faithful. Let these sentences be simple swords, no flourish, only edge. Put them on the fridge, at the table, inside the notebook by the bed. Whisper them over sleeping shoulders and busy mornings. When weariness suggests you are repeating yourself, remember repetition is how foundations cure. Now lift your hands, as if placing a covering over your own roof, and receive May, the Lord the keeper of covenants, stretch a canopy of peace above your dwelling. May His nearness be the weather of your rooms, gentle on anxious skin, bright upon confused paths, steady over long obedience. May laughter return quickly after tears, and may forgiveness travel faster than offense. May your son be taught of the Lord. May his ears be tuned to the first whisper of wisdom, and deaf to the second voice of flattery. May his questions become ladders, and his steps become answers. May his hands learn the craft that heals and the craft that builds, and may doors open to him in 3 ways, earned, given, and breathed, without bending his spine toward pride. May holy friendships gather like constellations around his calling, bright enough to guide, humble enough to listen. May the scarred mentor arrive on time, and may the comet pass without scorch. May the phrase, build here, settle into coordinates, and may what he builds outlast the names on its blueprints. May your table be warm with wonder, your dawns kept with devotion, your Sabbaths guarded like gold. May the God who hems you in behind and before place his hand upon your house so firmly that fear forgets your street. May providence reroute what harms discernment, expose what lures, and joy strengthen what lasts. I bless your lineage with unborrowed courage, with clarity that chooses the narrow gate gladly, with humility that can carry favor without fracture. I bless the work of your hands, the thoughts of your mind, the quiet you keep, and the songs you sing. I bless your son to live as morning in rooms that forgot dawn. So let it be sealed in the name of the faithful one, established by his mercy, guarded by his peace. Walk now in the rhythm already given. Keep oil, keep laughter, keep building. The Lord has spoken good concerning you, and what he speaks, he sustains.